Boy leaves doctors speechless after what he said when they prescribed him a medication. Jennifer Parker could barely breathe as she held her son Ethan's trembling hand in the icy hallway of Mercy General Hospital in Denver. The 12-year-old boy, wearing his favorite Batman t-shirt, stared at the floor while they waited to be called. "Mom, I can't take this medicine," Ethan murmured for the third time that morning, his brown eyes filled with a distress Jennifer couldn't decipher. The office door opened, and Dr. Sarah Wilson, a woman with impeccably styled gray hair, appeared with a professional smile. "You can come in," she said, adjusting her gold-framed glasses. Dr. Michael Roberts was already inside, reviewing some papers. He looked up as mother and son entered, immediately noticing the tension on the boy's face. "Ethan, how are you feeling today?" the doctor asked, trying to break the ice. The boy didn't answer. His arms were tightly crossed over his chest, as if shielding himself from something unseen. "He's been like this since yesterday. When I mentioned you'd probably prescribe Cerebrix," Jennifer explained, nervously running her hand through her hair. Dr. Sarah exchanged a concerned glance with Dr. Michael. It was unusual for a child to resist a medication so strongly before even starting it. "Ethan, sweetheart," Dr. Sarah began softly, "we know taking medicine can be scary, but Cerebrix will help with your anxiety. Many children take it and feel much better." That's when Ethan abruptly lifted his head, his eyes meeting the doctor's with unsettling intensity. "You don't understand," he said, his voice shaking. "I know things about this medicine that you don't, things no one should know." The silence that followed was so thick, Jennifer could hear the soft hum of the air conditioning. The two doctors exchanged glances, clearly unsettled. "What do you mean, Ethan?" Dr. Michael asked, leaning forward. The boy took a deep breath, as if about to reveal a terrible secret. "My dad," he started, but his voice faltered. He looked at his mother, who instantly paled. "Ethan, no," Jennifer whispered, but he continued. "My dad worked at the lab that made Cerebrix. Before he left, he told me things he discovered that made him have to run away." Dr. Sarah adjusted her glasses again, a nervous habit she had when deeply troubled. "Ethan, your dad? David Parker?" she asked, and Jennifer nearly fell out of her chair. "How do you know his name?" Jennifer asked, her voice rising an octave. The doctor hesitated before answering. I knew him many years ago. We worked together on some research projects before he went into the pharmaceutical industry." Dr. Michael looked lost. "Sarah, what are you talking about?" But before she could respond, Ethan continued, the words pouring out in an uncontrolled rush. "He said he found out Cerebrix had effects they were hiding, that in kids with a certain genetic condition, the medicine could cause..." He stopped, looking at his mother desperately. "Cause what, Ethan?" Dr. Michael pressed, now genuinely alarmed. "Changes, permanent changes in the brain. He said when he found out and tried to warn his superiors, they threatened our family. That's why he had to leave, to protect us." Jennifer was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face as she hugged her son. "I thought he abandoned us," she whispered. "All these years I thought." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing, Dr. Sarah stood up abruptly, her face a mask of conflicting emotions. "Michael, I need to speak with you outside, now." "But Sarah, now!" she insisted, and there was something in her voice that made the doctor obey immediately. When the door closed behind them, Ethan grabbed his mother's hand. "Mom, there's more. Dad left a hidden notebook. I found it in the attic last week. Everything's written there, the tests, the results they hid, the names of the people involved." Jennifer felt the world spin around her. 5 years, thinking David had simply decided he didn't love them enough to stay. 5 years raising Ethan alone, struggling to pay the bills, dealing with her son's growing anxiety that started right after his father left. In the hallway, the doctor's argument was heating up. Jennifer could hear fragments through the slightly open door. "Sarah, you can't possibly be suggesting that," Dr. Michael's voice. "I'm not suggesting anything, but if what the boy is saying is true..." Dr. Sarah sounded anguished. You knew his father. You'd know if... I knew David before he discovered what he did. Michael, you don't understand. If this is true, we're talking about thousands of children who may have been affected. Ethan squeezed his mother's hand tighter. There's something I didn't tell you, he whispered. In Dad's notebook, Dr. Sarah's name is there. She didn't just know him. She was one of the few people he trusted when he started suspecting. Something was wrong. A chill ran down Jennifer's spine. She looked at the door where the argument continued and made a decision. Ethan, where is this notebook? At home, hidden in my room. Mom, there's something else. The boy hesitated. What is it? Dad wrote that someone at the hospital was involved. Someone who still works here. Before Jennifer could process the door opened again. Dr. Sarah entered first, her face pale and eyes red as if she'd been crying. Jennifer, Ethan, she began, her professional tone completely gone. I need you to listen to me very carefully. What I'm about to say might sound crazy, but... You were in love with my dad, Ethan interrupted, and the doctor's jaw dropped. How did you... He wrote about that too. He said you were the only one who believed him at first, that you tried to help him, but then... Dr. Sarah collapsed into a chair, seeming to age 10 years in seconds. Then I was threatened too, she finished hoarsely. They said if I kept supporting David, my medical license would be revoked, that they'd fabricate evidence of misconduct. I just adopted my niece. I couldn't take the risk. Dr. Michael stood frozen in the doorway, white as a sheet. Sarah, this is extremely serious. We need to contact the authorities. No, Ethan nearly shouted. Dad said they have people everywhere, in the police, the government, even the medical board. If they find out we have the notebook... What notebook? Dr. Michael asked. But Jennifer cut him off. Doctor, do you know of any cases where children took Cerebrix and had strange changes? The doctor hesitated, and that moment of hesitation said it all. There have been a few cases that puzzled me over the years. Children who developed unusual cognitive abilities, others who had drastic personality shifts. But I always attributed it to other factors. How many? Dr. Sarah pressed urgently. Michael, how many children? In the last 3 years? Maybe 15, 20. Oh my God. Jennifer covered her mouth with her hand. And you kept prescribing it. We didn't know. Dr. Michael defended himself. The official side effects never mentioned any of this. Ethan stood up, his Batman t-shirt seeming to give him superhuman courage. You need to stop prescribing this medication. Now. It's not that simple, Ethan, Dr. Sarah explained. Thousands of children depend on Cerebrix for serious conditions. We can't just... Then test them, the boy insisted. Dad found out it only happens in kids with a specific mutation in the COMT gene. It's a simple blood test. The two doctors exchanged glances, shocked by the technical knowledge of the 12-year-old. Ethan, how do you know all this? Asked Dr. Michael. I spent the last 5 days reading my dad's notebook. I memorized every word, every formula, every name. His eyes filled with tears. He knew that one day someone would need to continue his work. I guess that someone is me. Jennifer hugged her son, feeling the weight of the world on his small shoulders. Her baby, her little boy who still slept with the light on, now carried a secret that could shake the entire pharmaceutical industry. Where is David now? Dr. Sarah asked softly. We don't know, Jennifer replied. He disappeared 5 years ago. He left only a letter saying it was for our safety. That's not true, Ethan said suddenly. I'm sorry. Mom, but there's something else I didn't tell you. Dad has been sending letters to me through a complicated system he set up. Jennifer's legs felt weak. What? Ethan, why didn't you tell me? Because he asked me to keep it secret. He said if you knew you'd try to find him, and that would put us all in danger. The letters come to the school mail addressed to my science teacher, Mr. Thompson, but they're for me. And what does he say in these letters? Dr. Michael asked, clearly crossing all ethical boundaries but unable to contain his curiosity. That he's working on an antidote, that he found other scientists who were silenced like him. They formed a secret group, working in makeshift labs. Ethan paused. The last letter came yesterday. He said he was close to a breakthrough but needed one thing. What? Everyone asked at once. A sample of my blood. Apparently I have the genetic mutation, but I also have something else. Something that protects me from the effects. Hervé Cerebrix. He thinks my DNA could be the key to creating a safe medication. The room fell silent for a long moment. The weight of the revelation was overwhelming. Dr. Sarah was the first to speak. Ethan, you said you have the notebook. Can we see it? The boy looked at his mother, who nodded slowly. Okay, but not here. Dad said the hospital might be bugged. Meet us at our house tonight, 457 Maple Street. Wait, Dr. Michael interjected. This is insane. We're talking about conspiracy theories, secret labs. How do we know this isn't just the fantasy of a child traumatized by his father's absence? Ethan stared at him with unsettling maturity. You have a patient, named Jason Miller, right? 12 years old, started taking Cerebrix 2 years ago. The doctor nodded, surprised. How did you... I bet he's developed exceptional math skills in the last few months. Can do complex calculations in his head. His parents must be amazed, thinking he's a late bloomer. Dr. Michael paled. How could you know that? Because it's one of the effects in kids with the type A mutation. My dad documented 12 identical cases. In 5 years, Jason will start having debilitating headaches. In 10, possible neural degeneration. Oh my God. The doctor sank into a chair. Still doubt me? Ethan asked. Doctor. Sarah stood. Up, determination replacing the shock on her face. Michael, cancel all Cerebrix prescriptions for patients under 18. Immediately. Sarah, I can't just... You can and will. Say there was a manufacturer recall, anything. We can't risk any more children until we're sure. What if we're wrong? What if this is all... What if we're right? She shot back. Could you live with yourself knowing you kept prescribing poison to children? Jennifer watched the argument, still trying to process everything. Her son, her little Ethan, had kept so many secrets. And David? David was alive, working to fix what he discovered. He hadn't abandoned them. There's one more thing, Ethan said, interrupting the doctor's debate. Dad mentioned a name several times in the notebook. Someone here at the hospital who was helping cover it all up, Dr. Richard Coleman. The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Dr. Sarah and Dr. Michael exchanged looks of pure terror. Richard Coleman is the hospital's chief medical officer, Dr. Sarah whispered. And my direct supervisor, Dr. Michael added, his voice shaking. So you understand, Ethan said gravely, why we can't trust anyone. Why, Dad had to run. And why, if you really want to help, you'll have to be very, very careful. A noise in the hallway made everyone freeze. Footsteps. Multiple footsteps approaching fast. Did anyone else know you'd be in this room? Jennifer asked urgently. Just the reception nurse, Dr. Michael began, but was cut off by loud knocks on the door. Dr. Michael, Dr. Sarah, Dr. Coleman needs to see you immediately. A commanding male voice called from the other side. Ethan gripped his mother's hand tightly. Dr. Sarah quickly typed something on her phone and showed it to Jennifer. Go out the other door, now. Just a moment, Dr. Michael replied, trying to buy time. Jennifer didn't need to be told. Twice. She took Ethan's hand and quietly moved toward the office's back door, which led to another hallway. Wait, Dr. Sarah whispered, pressing something into Jennifer's hand. It was a card. My personal number. Call me when you get home. The knocking grew more insistent. Open the door, that's an order from Dr. Coleman. Go! Dr. Michael gestured frantically. Mother and son slipped into the back hallway, Jennifer's heart pounding so hard she was sure everyone in the hospital could hear it. Behind them, they heard the door being forced open and raised voices. Where are the woman and the boy? Came a deep, authoritative voice. What woman? What boy? Dr. Sarah replied with feigned confusion. Don't play dumb. The cameras showed Jennifer and Ethan Parker entering this room 20 minutes ago. Jennifer pulled Ethan into an empty elevator, frantically pressing the ground floor button. As the doors closed, she saw 2 security guards running toward them in the metal reflection. Mom, what are we going to do? Ethan asked, his earlier bravery giving way to the fear of a 12-year-old. We'll go home, get your father's notebook and disappear for a while, Jennifer answered, trying to sound calmer than she felt. What about the doctors? They'll have to manage. Our priority is your safety and that notebook. The elevator reached the ground floor and they hurried out, trying to appear casual as they headed for the exit. Jennifer could feel eyes on them, every security guard a potential threat. They were almost at the door when a heavy hand landed on Jennifer's shoulder. Mrs. Parker, Dr. Coleman would like a word with you. Jennifer turned slowly, finding herself face to face with a tall man in a dark suit and mirrored sunglasses. That hid his eyes. Sorry, but we're in a hurry. My son isn't feeling well. She tried to pull away, but his grip tightened. I insist, the man said, his voice carrying an unmistakable threat. It was Ethan who saved the situation. With a theatrical groan, he doubled over, pretending he was about to throw up. Mom, I'm gonna... He made convincing, retching sounds. The man instinctively stepped back, releasing Jennifer. It was all the distraction they needed. Jennifer grabbed Ethan and ran for the exit, ignoring the shouts behind them. In the parking lot, her hands trembled so much she could barely unlock the car. Ethan jumped into the back seat and she peeled out, tires screeching on the asphalt. You were brilliant, she said, glancing in the rearview mirror. Learned it from Batman, Ethan replied with a weak smile. Always have an escape plan. But the smile faded when they saw a black car pulling out of the hospital parking lot behind them. Mom, I see them. Jennifer pressed the accelerator. Hold on tight. She took a sharp right, then a left, trying to lose herself in Denver's downtown traffic. The black car stayed on their tail, keeping its distance, but clearly following them. Ethan, call Dr. Sarah, Jennifer ordered, tossing her phone to her son. Ethan dialed with shaky fingers. After several rings, a breathless voice answered. Jennifer? It's Ethan. We're being followed. Listen carefully. Dr. Sarah's voice was tense. Don't go home. They probably already know where you live. There's a place... Wait. They heard voices in the background, then the sound of a door slamming. Sorry, I had to step out of the hospital. Michael's distracting Coleman. Go to Central Park. Park near the lake and wait. I'll meet you there in 30 minutes. But what if they... Trust me. And Ethan, no matter what happens, don't let them get the notebook. The call cut off. Jennifer checked the rear view. Mirror again. The black car was still there, now closer. Change of plans, she murmured, taking a sharp turn that nearly threw Ethan against the door. Mum, since when do you drive like this? Your father taught me, she replied, her voice a mix of pride and sadness. He always said I might need it someday. David had always been paranoid, she used to think, always with theories about what could go wrong, always preparing backup plans. Now she understood why. Another sharp turn, this time onto a one-way street going the wrong way. The black car tried to follow but had to stop when a bus blocked its path. We lost them, Ethan cheered. Not yet, Jennifer kept her speed up, weaving a winding path towards Central Park. They'll figure out where we're headed eventually. 15 minutes later, they parked near the lake. The park was relatively empty for a Thursday afternoon, just a few retirees feeding ducks and mothers with strollers. Now what? Ethan asked, scanning the area nervously. Now we wait, Jennifer replied, though her mind raced. The notebook. They had to get the notebook, but if the house was being watched... Mom, there's something I should have told you earlier, Ethan began hesitantly. The notebook isn't actually at home. Jennifer turned sharply to face him. What? Dad taught me never to keep all the important information in one place. The real notebook is with Mr. Thompson, my teacher. The one at home is a copy missing some pages, the most important ones. Ethan! Jennifer didn't know whether to hug or shake him. Why didn't you say so sooner? Because I had to be sure we could trust the doctors. Daddy said not to trust anyone, not even you, until we're absolutely sure. The words hurt more than Jennifer expected. Her own son following instructions not to trust her. I understand, she finally said. Your father was trying to protect us all. He still is, Ethan corrected softly. And he does. Trust you, Mom, he was just being careful. A movement in the parking lot caught their attention. A silver car had just pulled up, and Dr. Sarah Wilson rushed out, glancing over her shoulder. Get in my car, she said as soon as she reached them. Quickly. But No arguments, the whole hospital is in an uproar. Coleman is furious. He sent security after you and called an emergency meeting with the entire board. They quickly moved to the doctor's car. As soon as they got in, she sped off, taking a different route than Jennifer had planned. "Where are we going?" Jennifer asked. "My house," Dr. Wilson replied. "It's the only safe place I can think of right now. Michael is meeting us there as soon as he can leave the hospital without raising suspicion." "Do you trust him?" Ethan asked bluntly. The doctor hesitated before answering. "Michael is a good man, a bit naive sometimes, but honest. If he'd known about Cerebrix, he would have never kept prescribing it." "And you?" the boy pressed. "Why did you keep going, even after what happened to my dad?" Dr. Wilson gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Because I'm a coward," she admitted. "Because I chose my career and my safety over doing the right thing. It's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life." The silence in the car was heavy. Jennifer watched the city pass by the window, trying to process how her life had completely changed in just a few hours. "Ethan," Dr. Wilson broke the silence. "You said your father is developing an antidote. Did he mention how long it would take? In his last letter, he said he was months away from a working prototype, but without a sample of my blood, it could take years. And are you willing to give that sample? If it means saving other kids, of course." "You're very brave," the doctor remarked. "Your father would be proud." "He is proud," Ethan corrected. "He tells me so in his letters." They arrived at a quiet residential neighborhood with large houses and well-kept gardens. Dr. Wilson's home was a 1960s build, with ivy climbing the walls and a garden that was clearly her passion. "Get inside quickly," she said, opening the garage door with a remote. Once safely inside, Jennifer finally let herself breathe. The decor was elegant yet cozy, with family photos scattered about and shelves full of medical books. "Would you like tea? Water?" Dr. Wilson offered, clearly trying to process the situation through gestures of normalcy. "Water's fine," Jennifer replied, sinking into the couch. Ethan sat beside her, for the first time looking like the scared 12-year-old he was. As the doctor went to get the drinks, Jennifer's phone rang. Unknown number. She hesitated before answering. "Hello?" Jennifer. The voice on the other end made her heart stop. It was hoarse, different, but unmistakable. "David," she whispered, and Ethan jumped from the couch. "Listen carefully, we don't have much time," her husband's voice continued urgently. "I know you fled the hospital. I know you're with Sarah. That's good. You can trust her. David, where are you? Why?" "No time for explanations. Jennifer, they're going to intensify the search now that Ethan has revealed what he knows. You need to leave town. Today." "But the notebook, the antidote?" "Forget the notebook for now. Your safety comes first. There's someone in Chicago, Dr. Rachel Martinez. She's part of our group. Address, 1847 Oak Avenue. She will protect you." "David, wait. Tell Ethan I love him, that I'm so sorry for all of this." "And Jennifer," his voice broke. "I love you, I always have. Everything I did was to protect you." The call ended. Jennifer stared at the phone, tears streaming down her face. "Was that Dad?" Ethan asked in a small voice. She nodded, pulling her son into a tight hug. Dr. Sarah returned with the waters, finding mother and son crying in each other's arms. "What happened?" Jennifer told her about the call. The doctor's face grew even paler. "Chicago, that makes sense. It's big enough to hide in. But how did he know you were with me?" "Dad has his ways," Ethan said, wiping his tears. "He always knows where we are. It's how he protected me even from afar." The sound of a car approaching made everyone tense. Dr. Sarah peeked through the curtain. "It's Michael," she announced with relief. Dr. Michael entered, looking like he'd aged years in hours. His usually immaculate lab coat was wrinkled, his hair disheveled. "You have no idea what you've set off," he said, collapsing into an armchair. "Coleman is out of control. He called the police, said you stole confidential hospital documents." "That's a lie," Jennifer protested. "Of course it is, but he has connections. In a few hours, there'll be a search warrant. You need to disappear. That's what David said, Dr. Sarah informed. He called. He wants them to go to Chicago. David called. Michael seemed shocked. So he's alive. Very much alive and working on a solution, Ethan confirmed. But he needs my help. Michael rubbed his face. This is surreal. This morning, my biggest worry was a patient with the flu. Now I'm in the middle of a pharmaceutical conspiracy. Welcome to my world for the past 5 years, Jennifer said bitterly. We need to think logically, Dr. Sarah interjected. You can't just hit the road. They'll be looking for Jennifer's car. I can lend you mine, Michael offered. It's discreet. No one will link it to you. What about the notebook? Ethan asked. The real copy with Mr. Thompson? I'll get it, Dr. Sarah decided. I'm less suspicious than you. Michael, you get Jennifer and Ethan ready for the trip. Food, money, clothes. We can't accept, Jennifer began. You can, and you will, the doctor cut in. It's the least I can do after years of turning a blind eye. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing, the next few hours passed in a blur of preparations. Michael went to get his car and returned with a backpack full of supplies. Sarah left to meet Ethan's teacher, promising to be careful. Ethan was oddly calm, helping pack with surprising efficiency. You seem experienced at this, Michael remarked. Dad trained me, the boy explained. Through letters. Always have a go bag ready. Always know escape routes. Always have a plan B. He really thought of everything. He had 5 years to plan, Ethan said simply. 5 years preparing for the day the truth would come out. Jennifer's phone rang again. Another unknown number. She answered hesitantly. Mrs. Parker, a woman's voice, professional. My name is Rachel Martinez. David told me you were coming. I need to confirm a few details. Jennifer put it on speaker, so everyone could hear. How do we know we can trust you? David said you'd ask that. The answer is you danced to the way you look tonight at the wedding, but messed up the steps and laughed so hard you had to stop. Jennifer choked up. Only she and David knew about this embarrassing yet adorable moment from their wedding. Okay, we believe you. Great. When you get to Chicago, don't go straight to the address David gave you. It's being monitored. Go to Westfield Mall first, the food court near Wendy's. I'll be wearing a red shirt and reading a poetry book. Approach me and ask for the time. Understood. Mrs. Parker, bring the boy prepared. What we're about to do won't be easy for him. What are you going to do? Ethan asked, grabbing the phone. Hello, Ethan. Your father talks about you a lot. We'll need several blood samples, some complex genetic tests. Nothing dangerous, but uncomfortable. I can handle it, the boy said firmly. I know you can. Your father says you're the bravest. Kid he knows. See you soon. The call ended. Michael looked at them with a mix of admiration and concern. Are you sure about this? You're about to step into something much bigger than yourselves. We've been in it for 5 years, Jennifer replied. We just didn't know. The front door opened and Sarah hurried in, a thick folder in her hands. I got it, she announced. Professor Thompson was very understanding. Apparently, he always suspected there was something special about the letters. He received. Mr. Thompson is cool, Ethan remarked, taking the folder. He never asked questions, just handed me the letters discreetly. There's more, Sarah continued. I ran into a nurse from Mercy General on my way back. The news isn't good. Coleman called a meeting with all the pediatricians. He's claiming you're part of a radical anti-vaccine group trying to sabotage legitimate treatments. That's ridiculous, Michael snapped. It's effective, Sarah corrected. Half the hospital already believes it. In a few hours, you'll be the villains of the story. Then we need to go now, Jennifer decided. There was a final rush of preparations. Michael handed over the keys to the car, a discreet silver Honda Civic. Sarah hugged them both, tears in her eyes. Forgive me, she whispered, for not being brave when it mattered. You're being brave now, Ethan replied, returning the hug. That's what counts. They left through the garage, Michael's car already loaded with their bags. Jennifer adjusted the mirrors, getting familiar with the vehicle. Call when you arrive, Michael requested, and good luck. As they drove out of the quiet neighborhood, Ethan opened the folder in the back seat. It was filled with dozens of handwritten pages, complex diagrams, chemical formulas, names and dates. "This is incredible," he murmured. Dad documented everything. Every test, every result, every cover-up attempt. "Don't read it all now," Jennifer advised. "How you'll get car sick." But Ethan was already absorbed, his eyes devouring every word from his absent father. Jennifer focused on the road, following the GPS directions to Chicago. They'd gone about 30 miles when Ethan made a strange noise. "What is it?" Jennifer asked, glancing in the rearview mirror. "Mom, there's a page here." His voice sounded odd. "It's about you." "About me?" "Dad wrote..." "He wrote that you have the mutation too, but a different variant, one that's only passed through the maternal line." Jennifer nearly lost control of the car. "What?" "That's why I have the protection. I inherited his mutation that makes me susceptible, but yours that protects me. I'm like a perfect genetic middle ground." "Ethan, that doesn't make sense. I never took Cerebrix, I never had..." "It's not about Cerebrix, Mom, it's about what Cerebrix was designed to do. Dad found out it wasn't just a failed antidepressant, it was an experiment. They were trying to activate something in kids, with the mutation." "Activate what?" Ethan stayed silent for so long that Jennifer thought he wouldn't answer. "Enhanced cognitive abilities, accelerated information processing. In some cases..." He paused. "In some cases, abilities that science still can't fully explain. You're saying they were trying to create geniuses, gifted children, kids with abilities beyond the norm?" Ethan closed the folder. "But something went wrong. Instead of controlled enhancement, they caused progressive neurological damage." The silence in the car was deafening. Jennifer tried to process the information as she navigated the growing highway traffic. "There's more, isn't there?" she finally asked. "There is," Ethan admitted, "but I think we need to take this one thing at a time." They stopped at a gas station to refuel and use the restroom. While Jennifer paid, she noticed the TV on behind the counter. Her heart froze when she saw their pictures on the local news. "Mother and son missing after causing a disturbance at a hospital. Police are asking anyone with information." She pulled her cap lower over her face and hurried out. Back in the car, Ethan had noticed too. "They were quick," he remarked. "Too quick," Jennifer agreed, starting the car. "Coleman really has powerful connections." They got back on the road, now more tense, constantly checking if they were being followed. The sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. "Mom?" Ethan broke the silence after an hour. "Yes?" "Do you think we'll see Dad again?" Jennifer felt a lump in her throat. "I hope so, son, I hope so." "Me too," he said quietly. "I have so many questions, so many things I want to tell him." "Like what?" "Like how I learned to ride a bike by myself, how I won the science fair 3 years in a row, how you used to cry in the bathroom but always came out smiling for me." Jennifer blinked back tears. "You knew?" "I always knew, Mum. But I understood you were being strong for me. Now it's my turn to be strong for both of us." The wisdom in those words from a 12-year-old was unsettling. Jennifer wondered how much of that maturity was natural and how much might be the effect of the mutation they both seemed to carry. The GPS showed they were 2 hours away from Chicago. Traffic was getting heavier as they neared the city. Jennifer turned on the radio, scanning for news. The search intensifies for missing mother and son. Sources at Mercy General Hospital claim confidential documents were stolen, putting patient safety at risk. She turned it off angrily. "Liars," she muttered. "That's how they operate," Ethan said. "Dad explained it. They control the narrative, make the victims look guilty. It's easier than admitting the truth." Jennifer's phone rang. It was Sarah. "Where are you?" the doctor asked without preamble. "About 2 hours from Chicago. Why?" "The police just left here. They asked questions, but Michael and I denied knowing where you were. But Jennifer, they mentioned something disturbing." "What?" "They said you're dangerous, that Ethan has a history of violence and mental instability, that you took him from the hospital against medical advice." "That's a lie. Ethan has never..." I know, but they have documents. Fake, obviously, but convincing. Psychiatric reports, school records. Coleman prepared this in advance. Jennifer felt her blood run cold. The extent of the conspiracy was becoming clearer. What should we do? Don't trust the police, not even in Chicago. If you're approached, don't identify yourselves. Rachel will know how to protect you, but until you reach her, stay under the radar. Sarah, thank you for everything. Don't thank me yet. I'll keep investigating from here. Michael is accessing old files, looking for other cases. If we find anything, be careful, Jennifer interrupted. Coleman has already shown what he's capable of. We will be. You too. The call ended. Ethan had been quiet in the back seat, but Jennifer could see him in the rearview mirror, flipping through his father's notebook again. Did you find anything else? She asked. Names, he replied, and so many names, children who were affected, some I recognize. Recognize how? From the news. Child prodigy solves impossible equation. 8-year-old boy admitted to university. Girl creates revolutionary app. He paused. They all took Cerebrix. All had their lives destroyed eventually. My God, there's a girl here, Olivia Peterson. I remember her. She made national news 3 years ago, IQ of 200, spoke 7 languages. Then she disappeared from the headlines. What happened to her? According to Dad's notes, severe neural degradation. She's in a specialized clinic now, doesn't even recognize her own parents. The horror of the situation hit Jennifer like a punch. How many children, how many families destroyed? We're going to stop this, she said with determination. Yeah, Ethan agreed. Dad started the work. We'll finish it. As the lights of Chicago began to appear on the horizon, Jennifer felt a mix of fear and hope. They were entering unknown territory, but at least they were no longer alone. Ethan, when we get to the mall, I want you to stay right by my side. Don't trust anyone except Dr. Rachel. Got it. And if something goes wrong, if we get separated, we won't be, he interrupted firmly. We stick together, always. Jennifer smiled through the rearview mirror, proud of her son's courage. David had raised a warrior, even from afar. The Chicago traffic swallowed them like a wave. Cars everywhere, honking horns, flashing lights. It was the perfect chaos to disappear into. Jennifer followed the GPS directions, navigating the congested avenues. There, Ethan pointed. Westfield Mall. The parking lot was packed. Jennifer found a spot on the upper floors, away from the main cameras. Ready? She asked, turning off the engine. Ready, Ethan confirmed, carefully tucking the notebook into his backpack. They stepped out of the car, blending into the crowd of shoppers, mother and son, out for a day like any normal family. Except nothing in their lives was normal now. The food court was bustling, the noise deafening. Jennifer scanned the area, trying not to look suspicious. There, Ethan whispered, near Wendy's. A woman around 40, black hair in a bun, wearing a red blouse. She sat alone, a book of poetry open in front of her, but her eyes kept sweeping the room. Let's go, Jennifer said, holding Ethan's hand. They approached casually. The woman looked up as they neared. Excuse me, Jennifer said, her voice trembling slightly. Could you tell me the time? The woman smiled, a warm smile. That immediately eased some of Jennifer's fears. It's 7:43, she replied, closing the book. But time is relative when you're waiting for something important, isn't it? It was the code. Jennifer felt her shoulders relax. Sit. Rachel gestured. Let's talk a bit before we leave. Did you order anything to eat? We're not hungry, Jennifer began, but Rachel interrupted. It's important to keep up appearances. Ethan, how about a burger? Jennifer, some coffee? They agreed, more out of recognition of the wisdom in her advice than actual appetite. While Ethan went to get the food, Rachel leaned closer. David told me everything about the notebook, about escaping the hospital. You've both been very brave. We had no choice. There's always a choice. You chose the truth. That's rare these days. Ethan returned with the tray, passing out the items. Rachel waited until he took his first bite before continuing. I'll be direct. What we need to do with Ethan isn't simple. We'll need multiple blood samples over several weeks, complex genetic testing. It might be uncomfortable. I can handle it. Ethan repeated his earlier statement. I know you can. Your father said the same thing, but I need you to understand it's not just about handling it. It's about trusting the process, even when it seems like it's not working. Where is my father? Ethan asked directly. Rachel hesitated. He's safe, working day and night on the antidote. But for now, it's better you don't know his exact location. Why? Because if you're caught, you can't reveal what you don't know. The logic was sound but painful. Being so close yet so far from David was torture. When will we see him? Jennifer asked. When it's safe. Maybe a few weeks, maybe months. It depends on how things progress. Months? Jennifer's voice rose. I know it's hard, but think. He waited 5 years. You can wait a little longer to make sure that when you reunite, it'll be for good. The promise in those words, of a permanent reunion, of a normal life again, was almost too painful to contemplate. What about the others? Ethan asked. The other affected children. That's why your blood is so important, Rachel explained. If we can isolate the protective factor, we might not only prevent new cases, but potentially reverse early-stage damage. Reverse? Jennifer perked up. So there's hope. There's always hope. It's what keeps us fighting. They finished eating. In relative silence, each lost in thought. Rachel occasionally checked her phone, her eyes always alert. It's time, she finally announced. We'll leave separately. You two first turn right at the exit and head to the G2 parking elevator. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. Jennifer and Ethan followed the instructions, trying to appear casual, as they navigated the busy mall. The elevator was empty when they arrived, and they waited nervously. Rachel appeared exactly 5 minutes later, now wearing a jacket over her red blouse. My car is the white SUV at the back, she said as the elevator descended. Get in quickly when we get there. The transfer was smooth. Within minutes, they were leaving the parking lot, Rachel driving confidently through the streets of Chicago. We're not going straight to the lab, she explained. First, we're heading to a safe apartment. You need rest and we need to make sure you weren't followed. Are we really that important? Ethan asked. Young man, you might be the most important person in the world right now, Rachel replied seriously. Your DNA could be the key to saving thousands of children. No pressure, he muttered, drawing a tense smile from Rachel. Your father had the same sense of humor, she remarked, always trying to lighten the mood with jokes. Do you know my father well? Jennifer asked, trying not to sound jealous. We've been colleagues for 3 years. He talks about you all the time. Especially you, Jennifer. I think half of what keeps him going are his memories of you. Jennifer felt tears prick her eyes again. How many times had she cursed David for leaving them? How many nights had she cried in anger, in hurt, feeling betrayed? And all along he'd been fighting to protect them, sacrificing everything. The apartment was in an unassuming building in Lincoln Park. Rachel led them through a side entrance, avoiding the main lobby. Third floor, she said in the elevator. The apartment is under a shell company's name, completely secure. The apartment was simple but comfortable. 2 bedrooms, a living room, a stocked kitchen. There was food in the fridge, clean clothes in the closets. David prepared everything, Rachel explained, seeing their surprise. He knew that one day you'd need a safe place. He thought of everything, Jennifer murmured. That's what he does. Plans, prepares, protects. It's how he shows love. Ethan was already exploring, checking the rooms, looking out the window. How long are we staying here? A few days, maybe a week. Enough time to start the tests and make sure the path is clear. What about school? Ethan asked. They'll notice I'm not there. We've taken care of that, Rachel assured him. You've been transferred to a private school in Chicago. All the paperwork is in order. You really did think of everything. We had 5 years to prepare, Rachel said simply. Now, I suggest you rest. Tomorrow, we start the tests. Ethan, you'll need all your energy. Jennifer agreed. The adrenaline from the day was finally catching up to her. She felt bone-tired. Rachel, she called as the doctor turned to leave. Yes? Thank you. For everything. Don't thank me. Thank David when you see him. All of this is because of him. Well, him and this remarkable young man. She smiled at Ethan. After Rachel left, mother and son were alone in the quiet apartment. It felt strange after the chaos of the day to be in a calm, safe place. "We'll be okay, Mom," Ethan said, sensing her tension. "I know," she replied, hugging him. "It's just a lot to take in." "We could read more of Dad's notebook," he suggested. "There are still so many pages I haven't seen." Jennifer agreed. It was better to be prepared for what was coming. They settled on the couch, the notebook between them, and began reading together. The revelations continued, each page more shocking than the last. Names of politicians involved, regulators who'd been bribed, doctors who knew and stayed silent. The web of corruption was vast and deep. "How do we fight all this?" Jennifer asked in a moment of despair. "The same way Dad is," Ethan answered with wisdom beyond his years. "One step at a time, one truth at a time." And so, in the quiet apartment in Chicago, mother and son prepared for the battle of their lives. Not with weapons or violence, but with truth, science, and the hope that a family's love could overcome any conspiracy. Outside, the city pulsed with nightlife. Millions of people living their lives, unaware that in a modest apartment, a 12-year-old boy carried in his blood the hope of salvation for thousands of children. Jennifer's phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. "Found 3 more cases. Michael is compiling. Coleman called an emergency meeting tomorrow. Something big is about to happen. Stay safe." "The war is just beginning," Jennifer murmured. "Then it's good we're on the right side," Ethan replied. With that simple certainty, they kept reading, preparing for the challenges ahead. Because now there was no turning back. The truth had been set free, and they would be its guardians no matter the cost. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The first night in the safe apartment was restless. Jennifer woke several times, every noise making her heart race. Ethan, on the other hand, slept deeply, exhausted by the day's events. In the morning, Rachel arrived early, bringing fresh coffee and breakfast. "Sleep well?" she asked, though the answer was obvious from Jennifer's tired eyes. "Ethan did. Not so much." "Understandable. It takes time to adjust to this new reality." Rachel poured the coffee. "Today we start the tests. Nothing too invasive, I promise, just some blood samples and basic genetic mapping." "Where?" Ethan asked, biting into a cheese bread. "We have a discreet lab about 20 minutes. From here. Officially it's a fertility clinic, but the basement, well, that's where the magic happens." "Magic?" Jennifer arched an eyebrow. "Figure of speech. David prefers to call it advanced science. But when you see what he's managed to create with limited resources, it feels like magic." After coffee, they got ready to leave. Rachel had brought new clothes, caps, even sunglasses. "Basic precautions," she explained. "Your photos are still circulating." The drive to the lab was tense. Jennifer kept checking the mirrors, looking for suspicious cars. Rachel drove with professional calm, taking alternate routes. "Relax," she advised. "Excessive anxiety draws more attention than casual confidence." The clinic building was nondescript, wedged between commercial offices. The reception looked completely normal. Plants, magazines, a smiling receptionist. "Good morning, Doctor." Martinez and the receptionist greeted. "Your 9 o'clock patients?" "Yes, Sandra. We'll be using the special room today." "Of course, the elevator is already cleared." They passed through the regular reception, entering an elevator at the back. Rachel inserted a special card and pressed an unmarked button. "Security," she explained as they descended. "Only 5 people have access to this floor." The doors opened to a completely different hallway. White walls, LED lighting, the soft hum of high-tech equipment. "Welcome to our little resistance hub," Rachel said with evident pride. The lab was impressive, equipment Jennifer had only seen in movies, computers with multiple screens, centrifuges, electron microscopes. "All this must have cost a fortune," she remarked. "We have a few benefactors," Rachel explained. "Parents of affected children who'd rather fund a real solution than accept the official lies." A man in a lab coat emerged from one of the side rooms. He was short, bald, with thick glasses that magnified his blue eyes. "This must be the famous Ethan," he said in a heavy German accent. "I'm Dr. Otto Zimmermann. I've worked with your father for 2 years." Ethan shook the scientist's extended hand, impressed by his firm grip. "You know my father personally?" "I do, and I admire him. One of the best biochemists I've ever met. And you, young man, may be the key to completing his work." "No pressure," Ethan repeated his earlier joke, but his nervousness was clear. "Let's start slow," Rachel interjected. "First, some basic blood samples. Otto, prepare room 2. As Dr. Zimmermann walked away, Rachel guided mother and son on a brief tour. Each room had a specific purpose: genetic analysis, compound synthesis, cell testing. "How many people work here?" Jennifer asked. "In total, about 15, all with stories like yours. All lost someone or something to Cerebrix." They arrived at room 2, where Dr. Zimmermann had already set up the equipment. The collection chair looked comfortable, the instruments arranged with German precision. "Ethan, sit here," Rachel instructed. "We'll start with just 3 tubes, nothing major." Jennifer held her son's hand as the nurse, a young woman with a gentle smile, prepared his arm. "You're being very brave," the nurse commented. "My brother was your age when he took Cerebrix, that's why I'm here." "What happened to him?" Ethan asked, more for distraction than curiosity. "He developed extraordinary math skills for 2 years, then," she paused, "now he's in specialized care. But with your help, maybe we can bring him back." The needle went in smoothly. Ethan didn't even flinch, watching, fascinated as the dark blood filled the tubes. "Your blood may appear normal," Dr. Zimmermann remarked, "but genetically it's unique. The combination of markers you carry is statistically impossible." "Impossible how?" Jennifer asked. "The chance of someone inheriting exactly this combination is 1 in 500 billion. Ethan shouldn't exist, mathematically speaking." "But I do exist," Ethan said simply. "And thank God for that," Rachel added. After the blood draw, Ethan was given orange juice and cookies while the scientists took the samples for initial analysis. "How long until we get results?" Jennifer asked. "Preliminary, a few hours, full results, days, maybe weeks," Rachel replied. "But David has already done much of the theoretical work. With the actual samples, we can speed things up significantly." A soft alarm chimed. Rachel checked her phone and frowned. "What is it?" Jennifer asked, alarmed. "A message from our monitoring team. There's been unusual activity near the apartment where you've been staying." "Were we found out?" "Not necessarily. Could be a coincidence, but we're not taking chances," Rachel typed quickly. "I'll arrange a new location." "Already?" Ethan protested. "We just got here." "That's how we survive, Ethan. We never get too comfortable in one place." As Rachel made arrangements, Jennifer and Ethan waited in the makeshift lounge. The lab had a different energy than the hospital, hope instead of despair. "Mum," Ethan said suddenly, "there's something in Dad's notebook I didn't tell you." Jennifer's stomach tightened. "What?" "He wrote about dreams. Dreams he had before he discovered everything. Dreams where he saw children, different children, kids who could do impossible things." "Ethan. And I've been having the same dreams since I turned 10. Kids who glow, Mum, literally glow with an inner light." Before Jennifer could respond, Dr. Zimmermann rushed back in, his face pale with excitement. "Mein Gott!" he exclaimed. "The preliminary results. It's even better than we hoped." "What did you find?" Rachel asked, returning from the comms room. "The antibodies in Ethan's blood. They don't just neutralize the harmful effects of Cerebrix, they reverse the damage. At a cellular level, it's like they rebuild the damaged neural connections." The silence that followed was profound. Jennifer felt the implications hit her like a wave. "Are you saying we can cure the affected children?" she asked hoarsely. "Not just cure," Otto replied, his eyes gleaming. "Potentially enhance them. Give them the promised abilities without the side effects." That's dangerous," Rachel interjected. "We're talking about human enhancement, exactly what they wanted to do." "But ethically," Otto argued, "controlled, voluntary." "No," Ethan said firmly, surprising everyone. "We're not doing what they did. We heal, we don't enhance. People should be who they are naturally." The wisdom in his statement silenced even the enthusiastic German scientist. "The boy's right," Rachel agreed. "David was always clear about that. We fix the damage, we don't play God." Rachel's phone rang again. She answered, her expression growing increasingly serious. "Understood. Yes. Immediately." She hung up. "We need to leave, now." "What happened?" Jennifer asked, already gathering their things. "Michael called. Coleman convinced a judge. There's a nationwide arrest warrant for both of you. Kidnapping and theft of intellectual property." "Kidnapping?" Jennifer exploded. "My own son? They're claiming Ethan is mentally unfit due to delusions about Cerebrix, that you took him from the hospital against medical advice, putting him at risk." "That's ridiculous. It's effective," Rachel corrected. "With this, they can mobilize far more resources to find you." Weber was already storing the blood samples in a portable cooler. "I'll continue the tests elsewhere," he said. "We can't waste any time." "Where are we going?" Ethan asked as they hurried toward the elevator. "I have a contact in Fort Collins," Rachel replied. "The farther from Chicago, the safer." "What about my dad?" Ethan pressed. "When will we see him?" Rachel hesitated. "Ethan, with that warrant out, it's become much more dangerous. They'll be watching all of David's possible contacts. So we might never—" The boy's voice faltered. "Hey," Rachel stopped, crouching to his level. "Your father is the most determined man I know. He'll find a way, he always does." In the parking lot, 2 cars were waiting. Rachel quickly ushered mother and son into a dark blue sedan. "Drive straight to this address." She handed Jennifer a slip of paper. "Don't stop for anything. I'll go ahead and make sure the path is clear." "Rachel," Jennifer gripped the doctor's arm. "Why are you doing all this for us?" The woman smiled sadly. "Because 3 years ago, my 8-year-old niece took Cerebrix. Now she can't even tie her own shoes. If there's a chance to bring her back, any risk is worth it." They parted ways. Jennifer followed the GPS, Ethan unusually quiet in the passenger seat. "You okay?" she asked after 20 minutes of silence. "Thinking," he replied. "About all those kids. Olivia Peterson, the nurse's brother, Rachel's niece. How many more, Mom? How many families destroyed? We don't know the exact numbers. Dad does. In his notebook, he estimated, based on Cerebrix sales and the percentage of kids with the mutation." Ethan paused. "At least 3,000 in the last 10 years. 3,000 children. 3,000 families." The number was staggering. "We'll fix this," Jennifer said firmly. "Your father started it. We'll finish it." "What if we can't? What if they're too powerful?" Jennifer chose her words carefully. "You know what your dad once told me? Evil triumphs when good people do nothing. We're doing something, Ethan. That's already a victory." The phone rang. Unknown number again. Jennifer put it on speaker. "Jennifer," David's voice filled the car, making them both gasp. "I know you're headed to Fort Collins. You need to change course." "David!" Ethan nearly shouted. "Dad! Hey, champ!" His voice was thick with emotion. "I miss you so much. Both of you." "Where should we go?" Jennifer asked, fighting tears. "There's a small town called Lake Tahoe, about 30 miles from where you are. Look for the Mountain View Ranch Resort. Tell them you're Susan's cousins. They'll understand." "Will you be there?" Ethan asked hopefully. "I can't, son. Not yet. But I sent someone I trust. She'll take care of you until it's safe for us to meet." "When, Dad? When will it be safe?" "Soon, Ethan. I promise. The tests you did today, Otto sent me the preliminary results. You're even more special than we imagined. With your help, we'll save all those children. I want to help. I'll do whatever it takes. I know, champ, and you will. But first, you need to stay safe. Jennifer?" "Yes, I know you're being strong for both of you, but take care of yourself too. Ethan needs all of you, not just you surviving." Her voice broke. "I just want our family back." "We will be. I swear on everything sacred. We'll have our family back, better and stronger than before." "Dad," Ethan cut in your notebook you wrote about dreams, about children who shine." Silence on the other end. "You've been having the dreams," David said, not a question. "Yes, since I was 10. Then it's starting. Ethan, listen carefully. The dreams aren't just dreams, they're It's hard to explain over the phone, but the person who will meet you in Lake Tahoe can help. Her name is Jessica. She also has the dreams." "What does that mean?" Jennifer asked, alarmed. "It means our son is even more important than we thought. Cerebrix wasn't just trying to create geniuses. It was trying to activate something that already exists in some people, something dormant." "David, you're scaring me." "It's not meant to scare. It's meant to give hope. Ethan and others like him, they're the future, a better, more connected future. But first, we need to make sure they have a future." The call began to break up. "David, cutting out, safety, love you, always." And silence returned. To the car, Jennifer and Ethan exchanged glances, processing the conversation. "Children who shine," Ethan murmured. "Mom, what if it's not a metaphor?" "We'll find out when we meet this Jessica," Jennifer replied, turning onto the road to Lake Tahoe. The path to the town wound through fog-covered mountains. It was beautiful, but isolated, perfect for hiding. "Mom?" Ethan broke the silence after a while. "Yes? Do you think we can do it? Save all those kids?" Jennifer thought about the question, about all the suffering children, the shattered families, the massive power they were up against. "You know what I think?" she finally answered. "I think we have no choice but to try, and sometimes trying with all your heart is enough to make miracles happen." "I don't believe in miracles," Ethan said. "I believe in science, in good people doing the right thing." "Maybe it's the same thing," Jennifer suggested. They arrived in Lake Tahoe as the sun began to set. The town was charming, with colonial architecture and cobblestone streets. The Mountain View Ranch resort was on the outskirts, surrounded by mountains and nature. At the front desk, a white-haired woman greeted them with a warm smile. "Good afternoon, do you have a reservation?" We're Susan's cousins," Jennifer said hesitantly. The woman's smile widened. "Of course, we've been expecting you. Jessica has already arrived. I'll take you to the cabin." They were led down a stone path to an isolated cabin overlooking a lake. It was rustic but comfortable, with a fireplace and wide porches. "Jessica is in the living room," the woman informed them before leaving. Jennifer and Ethan stepped inside cautiously. A young woman, around 25, sat near the fireplace, with long black hair and eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets. "Ethan," she said, standing up, "finally we meet." You're like me?" he asked. Jessica smiled, and for a brief moment Jennifer swore she saw a golden glow around her. "I am, and I have so much to teach you. But first, sit down. You must be exhausted." They settled in, the fire crackling softly. Jessica poured tea from a kettle that was already prepared. "Your father saved me," she began without preamble. 5 years ago, I was one of the first test subjects for Cerebrix, experimental phase before it even hit the market. You were one of the original children," Ethan whispered. "I was, and I survived because David found out what was happening in time. He synthesized a primitive version of the antidote just for me, saved my life but couldn't stop the changes." "What changes?" Jennifer asked, though she suspected the answer. Jessica held out her hand, focused, and a soft golden light emanated from her palm. "This," she said simply. "Among other things." Ethan was mesmerized. "How?" "We still don't fully understand. David has theories, something about quantum fields and consciousness. But the important thing is, I'm not the only one. There are others. And you, Ethan, could be the key to controlling these abilities without the price Cerebrix demands." "How many others?" Jennifer asked, still processing what she'd seen. "Who survived the initial effects?" "About 12. Who developed controllable abilities? 5, including me." "And the others?" Jessica's face grew somber. "Institutionalized. The abilities came at too high a cost, but with the antidote David is developing, using Ethan's blood, we can bring them back." "Can you teach me?" Ethan asked eagerly. "To control it, if I develop something?" "I can try, but Ethan, you need to understand, this isn't some comic book superpower. It's an immense responsibility, and it attracts the wrong kind of attention. What kind of attention? Jennifer asked. Coleman and his associates didn't just want to create geniuses. They wanted to create weapons, children who could be molded, controlled, used. The horror of the revelation hit them. This wasn't just about money or power. It was about creating a new generation of humans to be exploited. That's why Dad ran, Ethan realized. He found out their real plan. And that's why they're so desperate to catch him. And you, Jessica confirmed. You're not just the cure, Ethan. You're proof that it's possible to have the best of both worlds, the abilities without the manipulation. Jessica's phone rang. She answered, listened for a moment, then paled. Understood. Yes? Immediately. What happened? Jennifer asked, already dreading the answer. That was our surveillance team. Coleman found out about Lake Tahoe. We don't know how, but he's mobilizing resources. We have maybe 12 hours before they get here. 12 hours. Ethan exclaimed. We just arrived. I know, but this is how we survive, always moving, always one step ahead. Where do we go this time? Jennifer asked, exhaustion clear in her voice. There's a place, Jessica said carefully, but it's risky. Very risky. Riskier than constantly running. It's where David is. The silence that followed was electric. Jennifer felt her heart race. He's here in the United States? He always has been. Moving, hiding, but he never left the country. He couldn't, not with you here. Where? Ethan pressed urgently. Where is he? Colorado, an old ranch near Boulder. That's where he set up the main lab. But, Jennifer pushed, it's the first place Coleman will look if he finds out. So far, David's kept it secret. If we go there and we're followed, we put everyone at risk, Jennifer finished. Exactly. Ethan stood, walking to the window. Outside, the lake reflected the first stars. How many people are there? At Dad's lab? About 20. Scientists, support staff, some parents of the affected children. And how many patients? 3 kids in experimental treatment. Volunteers whose parents decided to risk the unfinished antidote. Is it working? Partially. The damage is being reversed, but slowly. With your blood, David believes he can speed up the process tenfold. Ethan turned, determination written on his young face. Then we have to go, no matter the risk. Ethan, Jennifer began. Mom, how many kids will suffer while we keep running? How many families will be torn apart? If we can help, we have to try. He's right, Jessica agreed. No more running, it's time to fight. Not with violence, but with science, with truth. Jennifer looked at her son, seeing no longer a frightened child, but a young man ready to embrace his destiny. All right, she finally said. Let's find David. Jessica smiled, grabbing her phone. I'll alert the team. We need to leave in 2 hours, enough time for dinner and to prepare. The next 2 hours flew by. They ate a simple but nutritious meal, prepared by the resort staff who clearly knew more than they let on. Ethan devoured his father's notebook, absorbing every detail that might be useful. There's a protocol here, he announced, for rapid synthesis of the antidote. Dad wrote that under ideal conditions, with the right sample, he could create a functional dose in 48 hours. Functional dose means, Jennifer asked, enough to treat 1 child. For mass production, it would take weeks. But to prove it works, 48 hours, Jessica finished. We can hold on for 48 hours. When it was time to leave, they slipped out quietly through the back of the resort. A different car was waiting for them. An ordinary van, the kind that wouldn't draw attention. The driver is trustworthy, Jessica assured them. He's been part of the network for years. The man at the wheel gave a silent nod. He was middle-aged. His face lined with worry, but his eyes kind. My daughter was one of the first, he said simply. Anything to help. The nighttime drive through the Colorado roads was tense. Every headlight in the rearview mirror felt like a potential threat. But Jessica had a device that tracked police communications, and so far, nothing suggested they'd been discovered. How much longer? Ethan asked after 2 hours. Another hour, the driver replied. Maybe less if the roads stay clear. Ethan turned back to the notebook, reading by the dim light of his phone. Suddenly, he made a surprised sound. What is it? Jennifer asked. There's a page here. It's in code. I hadn't noticed before. Code? Jessica leaned in. Let me see. Ethan handed her the notebook. Jessica studied it for a moment, then smiled. It's a simple cipher, letter substitution. Your mother should know how to decode it. Me? Jennifer was surprised. David said you two used to make codes when you were dating. Jennifer took the notebook, memories flooding her mind. It was true. They had exchanged coded messages in college, a silly game between lovers. It's our old cipher, she whispered. He remembered. Working carefully, she began decoding. The words that emerged made her heart clench. Jen, if you're reading this, it means Ethan found the notebook and you're both in danger. Know that every day apart has been torture. But there were people watching, waiting for me to make contact. It was the only way to keep you safe. The antidote is almost ready. When we meet again, I swear we'll never be apart. With all my love. D. Tears streamed silently down Jennifer's face as she passed the decoded message to Ethan. He never stopped loving us, Ethan said softly. Never, Jennifer agreed. We're almost there, the driver announced. Get ready. Ahead in the darkness, they could see the outline of an old farmhouse. It looked abandoned from the outside, but Jennifer noticed subtle signs of security, hidden cameras, motion sensors. This is it, Jessica confirmed. After 5 years, you're finally going home. The gate swung open silently as they approached. The dirt path led to a main house that looked centuries old. But it was a facade, Jennifer realized. Everything was carefully constructed to appear derelict. The van stopped. For a moment, no one moved. The weight of the moment was almost unbearable. Then the front door opened, and a figure stepped into the faint porch light. He was thinner than Jennifer remembered. His hair had streaks of grey that hadn't been there 5 years ago, but his eyes, those were the same eyes she had fallen in love with decades ago. David, she whispered. Ethan was the first to move, leaping from the van and running. David dropped to his knees, clutching his son in a desperate embrace. My boy, he sobbed. My brave boy. Jennifer approached more slowly, her legs trembling. David looked up, one arm still around Ethan, and reached his other hand out to her. Jen. She ran the last few steps, and then there were 3 of them, embraced, crying, finally together after 5 years apart. Forgive me, David kept repeating. Forgive me for leaving you. You protected us, Ethan answered, his voice muffled against his father's chest. We understand now. Shh, Jennifer quieted him. We're together now. That's all that matters. They stayed like that for a long while, ignoring everyone around them, existing only in their bubble of reunion. Finally, David pulled back just enough to look at them properly. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? We're fine, Jennifer assured him. Tired, scared, but fine. Dad, Ethan said urgently. The tests. Dr. Zimmerman said my blood could reverse the damage. David smiled, pride evident in his eyes. I know. Otto sent me the results. It's better than I hoped. With your help, we can save all of them. Then let's get started, Ethan said determinedly. Now. Easy, champ. First, you rest. Eat something decent. Tomorrow, we start saving the world. David, Jessica interjected gently, we need to discuss security. Coleman is getting more aggressive. I know, he replied, turning serious. We have contingency plans, but tonight is for my family. He led them inside the house. The interior was surprising, modern, clean, clearly converted into part home and part lab. Your room is ready, David said. Same room, separate beds. I thought you'd want to stay together. You thought of everything, Jennifer observed. I had 5 years to plan for this moment, he replied. Every detail. They were taken to a cozy room with 2 beds, a private bathroom, even some new clothes in the right sizes. Rest, David said. Tomorrow we have a lot of work. But tonight, sleep knowing you're safe, that we're together. After more hugs and tears, he left them to settle in. Jennifer and Ethan prepared for bed in contemplative silence. Mom? Ethan called out in the dark after the lights were turned off. Yes? I'm scared. Not of Coleman or the danger. Scared I won't be able to help. that I'll fail all those kids. Jennifer got up and sat on his bed. You know what your dad once told me? That courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of fear. You're the bravest person I know, Ethan. Do you think we'll succeed? With you, your dad, and all these good people working together? Yes, I think we will. Ethan snuggled against her, looking more like the child he was than the hero he was being forced to become. I love you, Mum. I love you too, son, always. As sleep finally overtook them outside in the hidden labs of the ranch, David and his team worked tirelessly. In 48 hours, they would attempt the impossible. In 48 hours, they would start saving lives. But for now, in this moment, a family was reunited, and sometimes that's miracle enough. Morning came too soon. Ethan woke to soft knocks on the door and his father's voice. Good morning. Breakfast in 15 minutes. Jennifer was already awake, gazing out the window at the green fields surrounding the ranch. Did you sleep? Ethan asked. A little. It still feels like a dream to be here. They got ready and followed the smell of fresh coffee to a spacious kitchen. David was there, along with Jessica and a few unfamiliar faces. Let me introduce part of the team, David said. Dr. Amanda Johnson, our neurologist, Dr. Brandon Cooper, biochemist, and these are Lily, Emma, and Noah, our volunteer patients. The three children, aged 10 to 14, looked at Ethan with obvious curiosity. Are you the special boy? The youngest, Lily, asked bluntly. We're all special, Ethan replied, sitting beside them. Just in different ways. Note, the translation strictly adheres to the provided cultural mappings and follows all specified instructions. I could solve calculus equations when I was 9, Noah said. Now I can barely do simple math. But you're improving, Dr. Amanda interjected. Since starting the experimental treatment, there's been a 30% recovery in function. With Ethan's blood, we could reach 100%, David added. Over coffee, David explained the process. They would need multiple blood samples from Ethan over 2 days. The antidote would be synthesized in stages, each more complex than the last. And if it works? Jennifer asked. When it works, David. Corrected. We'll begin large-scale production. I already have contacts at independent labs ready to help. In 6 months, we can treat all affected children in the United States. What about Coleman? Jessica asked. He won't just stand. Let me worry about Coleman, David replied darkly. I have information on him that will ensure his cooperation. What kind of information? Jennifer pressed. The kind I'd rather not discuss in front of the children, was his answer. After coffee, Ethan was taken to the main lab. It was even more impressive than the one in Chicago. Cutting-edge equipment filled every available inch. Wow, Ethan whispered. Welcome to the heart of our resistance, Dr. Brandon said proudly. Every piece here was carefully acquired over the years. This blood draw was more extensive, 8 tubes in total. Ethan didn't even flinch, chatting with the other children who had gathered to watch. Does it hurt? Lily asked. Less than a bee sting, Ethan assured her, and worth it if it helps you all get better. You're brave, Emma, who had been quiet until now, said softly. I used to be scared of needles, before I got sick. We're all scared of something, Ethan replied. The trick is not letting fear win. David watched the interaction with obvious pride. He has your heart, he told Jennifer, your compassion, and your intelligence, she countered, your determination. The best of both of us, then. As the blood was processed, David gave the family a full tour of the facility. There were dormitories for the resident team, a library containing all his research, even a small school for the children in treatment. You've built a community, Jennifer observed, impressed. It was the only way, David explained. Alone, we're vulnerable. Together, we're strong. They reached a special room with reinforced walls and equipment Jennifer didn't recognize. What's this? Testing room for special abilities, David said carefully. Some children retain certain capacities, even with treatment. Like Jessica's light, Ethan asked. Among other things, Noah can process numbers at impossible speeds, even with reduced function. Emma sometimes knows things she shouldn't, like amplified intuition. And Lily. Lily is special, Jessica answered, entering the room. She can sense emotions, not read minds, but feel what others are feeling. That's why she seems so sad, Ethan realized. She feels everyone's pain. We're working on ways to help her filter it, David said. It's a beautiful ability, but a heavy one for a child to carry. A soft alarm sounded. Dr. Brandon appeared at the door. First synthesis is complete. Want to see? They hurried to the main lab. In a special incubator, a small vial held a clear liquid. Is that it? Ethan asked. The antidote? Version 1.0, Brandon confirmed. It still needs refinement, but in theory, it should neutralize Cerebrix's negative effects while preserving any beneficial changes. In theory, Jennifer repeated, and in practice. There's only one way to find out, David said, but we need to be absolutely certain before human trials. Test it on me, Noah offered, appearing in the doorway. I'm the oldest, the most affected. If it works on me, absolutely not, Dr. Amanda intervened. Not until we're completely certain of its safety. But how long will that take? The teenager protested. Every day that passes, I lose more of who I was. The desperation in his voice was palpable. Ethan stepped closer to him. Hey, we'll figure this out. My dad's the best. If anyone can make this work, it's him. You don't understand, Noah said bitterly. I was a genius, literally. Now I can barely remember basic formulas. It's like being trapped in a mind that's no longer yours. Then we'll set you free, Ethan said simply. All of you. That's a promise. David watched the interaction with mixed emotions, pride in his son, pain for the affected children, and determination to fix this. Brandon, speed up the safety tests. Amanda, monitor the kids' vitals continuously. If there's any change, I want to know immediately. The morning turned to afternoon as everyone worked feverishly. Ethan provided more blood, the children were examined, and data was analyzed. Around 3 in the afternoon, Jessica appeared, with a worried expression. David, we need to talk in private. They retreated to the office. Through the closed door, Jennifer could hear tense voices, but not the words. What do you think happened? Ethan asked. Nothing good by the looks of it, Jennifer replied, watching David return with a clenched jaw. Coleman made a move. He announced to the gathered team. He's offering a reward, $5 million for information leading to Ethan and Jennifer. $5 million, Brandon choked. He's desperate, Jessica added. Our sources say the pharmaceutical board is pressuring him. They want results, or heads will roll. So we're racing against time, David concluded. We need to prove the antidote works before he finds us. How many people know about this place? Jennifer asked. Just the core team and a few highly trusted contacts, but with $5 million on the line. David didn't need to finish. Someone could betray us, Ethan completed. We need a plan B, Dr. Amanda suggested, in case we're discovered. I already have one, David revealed, but I hope we won't need it. It involves splitting up the family again. No, Jennifer and Ethan said in unison. There may be no choice, David said gently. If it means saving lives, we'll find another way, Jennifer insisted. We're not separating, never again. The rest of the day passed in mounting tension. Everyone worked with renewed urgency, knowing time was even more precious. That evening, as they ate dinner, Lily approached Ethan. Can I tell you a secret? She whispered. Of course. I feel like something big is going to happen. Something that'll change everything, good or bad. The girl furrowed her brow, concentrating. Both, she finally answered. But in the end, more good than bad. Let's hope you're right, Ethan said, gently ruffling her hair. After dinner, David called Ethan and Jennifer into his private lab. I want to show you something, he said. Opening a wall safe. Inside were dozens of vials, all carefully labeled. Every antidote attempt from the last 5 years, he explained. Every failure, every small success, all leading to this moment. So many, Jennifer murmured. And look. At this, David pulled out a notebook even thicker than Ethan's. Every affected child I could document. Names, stories, symptom progression. Ethan flipped through it reverently. Hundreds of names, each representing a life altered, a family in pain. We'll save them, he said with conviction. All of them. With your help, yes, David agreed. But Ethan, I need you to understand something. Even when we have the perfect antidote, not everyone can be completely cured. Some damage is too deep. But we can try. We can always try. A piercing alarm shattered the moment. It was the security system. Movement on the perimeter. Jessica came running in, 3 vehicles approaching on the main road. They could be suppliers, Brandon suggested hopefully. At 10 at night? David was already in action mode. Everyone to your stations. Emergency Protocol 3. The ranch erupted into frantic activity. The children were taken to a secure bunker underground. Essential equipment was quickly packed. What do we do? Jennifer asked. You're going with... Jessica, David ordered. Back exit, there's a car waiting. Not without you, Ethan protested. Ethan, listen to your father. No, the boy shouted. No more separations. We stay together or face this together. The vehicles were closer now, their headlights visible through the trees. Wait, Lily appeared, having slipped out of the bunker. It's not danger. I feel relief, hope. Lily, go back, Dr. Amanda began. It's Dr. Sarah, Lily insisted, and someone else, someone good. David hesitated, then grabbed the binoculars. After a tense moment, he visibly relaxed. It is Sarah and Michael, but how... The cars stopped in front of the house. Sarah stepped out first, her hands raised in a gesture of peace. Michael followed, carrying a medical bag. Don't shoot, Sarah called, half joking. We're here to help. David stepped out cautiously, Jennifer and Ethan close behind. Sarah, how did you find us? Jessica left clues, she replied. Subtle ones, but enough for those who know where to look. We had to come. Michael has urgent information. Coleman's lost his mind, Michael explained quickly. He fired half the pediatric department. He's claiming there's a conspiracy to ruin the hospital's reputation. But the best part, Sarah added, is we found more files. Concrete proof he knew about Cerebrix's side effects for years. Proof? David's eyes lit up. What kind? Emails, memos, even meeting recordings. Michael opened the bag, revealing hard drives and documents. Enough to bury him. How did you get these? Jennifer asked, hugging Sarah. Let's just say Coleman's secretary has a child who was affected by Cerebrix, Sarah replied. She'd been waiting for the right moment to strike back. This changes everything, David said, his mind racing. With solid evidence, we can go public. Force an official investigation. But first, Michael interjected, the antidote, does it work? We're hours from knowing, Brandon answered. The first version is ready. Then let's help, Sarah declared. Michael and I didn't come all this way to watch. Put us to work. The unexpected arrival of the doctors injected new energy into the team. Sarah, with her expertise, immediately began reviewing the test protocols. Michael organized data on the affected children. It's worse than we thought, Michael announced after an hour of reviewing the files he'd brought. Coleman wasn't just covering up. He was actively suppressing research showing the dangers. Why? Ethan asked. Money? Partly, but also power, Sarah answered. Imagine controlling children with special abilities. What would governments pay for that? It's monstrous, Amanda murmured. It's human, David corrected bitterly. The ability to justify the unjustifiable for personal gain. They worked through the night. Ethan gave more blood, now with Sarah supervising to ensure he wasn't overextending himself. You're a remarkable young man, she said as she applied a bandage. Your parents must be very proud. We are, Jennifer confirmed, kissing her son's forehead. Around 4 in the morning, Brandon emerged from the lab with red but gleaming eyes, full of excitement. We did it, he announced. The antidote passed. All safety tests. It's ready for human trials. The silence that followed was profound. After 5 years, countless hours of work, and immeasurable sacrifices, the moment had arrived. Me first, Noah appeared, awakened by the commotion. Please, I need to be myself again. David looked at Amanda, who nodded slowly. We need parental consent, she said. My parents are here, Noah revealed, in the dorm. They've lived on the ranch for 2 years, helping however they can. Within minutes, Noah's parents were in the lab, tears in their eyes as they signed. The consent forms. If there's any chance, his mother said. There's more than a chance, David assured. But you need to understand the risks. We do, his father replied. We've watched our son fade away day after day. Any hope is worth the risk. They prepared everything with meticulous care. Noah was connected to monitors, an IV line set up. The antidote, clear and harmless in appearance, waited in a syringe. Ready? David asked. Noah nodded, holding his parents' hands. Bring me back, he pleaded. David administered the antidote slowly. For minutes that felt like hours, nothing happened. Then, I feel, Noah began, his eyes widening. It's like fog lifting. Vitals are stable, Amanda reported. Neural activity increasing in the frontal and parietal lobes. Noah, his mother called softly. How do you feel? The teenager blinked several times, then a smile spread across his face. Mum, what's the square root of 15,976? I don't... Channel 26, Noah answered instantly. I can think again. The room erupted in celebration. Hugs were exchanged, tears of joy shed. But David stayed focused, monitoring every vital sign. Easy, he cautioned. We still need to observe for at least 24 hours. There could be delayed effects. But it's working, Michael said in awe. My God, it's really working. Thanks to Ethan, David said, pulling his son close. Our little hero. I'm not a hero, Ethan protested. I just did what anyone would do. No, Lily said, stepping forward. Not everyone. I can feel your kindness, Ethan. It's rare. The next hours were spent in careful observation. Noah underwent test after test, each confirming the recovery of his cognitive abilities. It's miraculous, Sarah said, after reviewing the results. Complete reversal of neural damage in less than 6 hours. Not a miracle, David corrected. It's science and love, and good people having the courage to do what's right. When the sun rose over the ranch, it brought more than light. It brought hope. Emma and Lily were prepped to receive the antidote too, their parents equally, hopeful and nervous. Let's do this together, Emma suggested to Lily, so we're not scared. I'm not scared, Lily replied. I'm excited. I can feel the future changing. Ethan held each girl's hand as they received the treatment. Like with Noah, the response was quick and positive. It works, Brandon announced after 3 hours. In all 3, complete reversal of negative symptoms. And their special abilities? Jessica asked. Still present, but controlled, Amanda answered. As we hoped, the antidote preserves the beneficial, changes while eliminating the harm. So they're still special, Ethan observed. We're all special, Lily said, smiling genuinely for the first time since they'd arrived. But now we can choose how to use our gifts. David stepped away from the celebrating group, Jennifer following him. What is it? She asked. We did it. You did it. This is just the beginning, he replied. 3 children cured, but there are thousands out there, and Coleman won't give up easily. Then we take on one challenge at a time, Jennifer said. Together. Together, he agreed, kissing her softly. David, Jessica burst in. We have a problem. A big problem. They rushed back to the command center, where monitors showed news. Feeds. National alert. Dangerous child and mother wanted for medical terrorism. Authorities warn, do not approach. Photos of Jennifer and Ethan filled the screen. Medical terrorism? Michael exploded. That's absurd. It's Coleman, Sarah said grimly. He's escalating. There's more. Jessica switched channels. Look at this. Dr. Richard Coleman, director of Mercy General Hospital, will make a live statement about the Cerebrix crisis in 1 hour. Cerebrix crisis, Brandon asked. Is he going to admit it? No, David said, understanding. He's going to blame everything on us. Say we spread lies, caused panic, harmed children by denying treatment. So what do we do? Ethan asked. David looked around the room. His team, his family, the children they'd saved. We go to war, he declared, not with weapons, but with the truth. Jessica, contact all our media allies. Michael, Sarah, prepare a dossier with all the evidence. Brandon, start mass-producing the antidote. And us? Jennifer asked. You'll do the hardest thing, David replied. You'll hide, just for a few days, until we neutralize Coleman. "Dad, no," Ethan began. "Son, listen. You're too important. If anything happens to you, we can't make more antidote. I need you safe." "Your father's right," Jessica agreed. "I have a place, completely off the radar." Jennifer wanted to protest but saw the logic. Ethan was the key to saving thousands. Protecting him was the priority. 3 days, she negotiated. "After that, no matter what, we come back." 3 days, David agreed. "That's all I need." The next hours were a whirlwind of preparations. While Jessica arranged the hideout, the team worked frantically on their response to Coleman. "I have contacts at 3 major newspapers ready to publish," Sarah reported, "but they need irrefutable proof." "We have the recordings," Michael reminded them, Coleman admitting he knew about the side effects. "And we have something better," David revealed. "Noah, Emma, and Lily, living proof the antidote works." "They're children," Amanda protested. "We can't expose them." "We're not being exposed," Noah cut in. "We're choosing to help. Right, girls?" Emma and Lily nodded firmly. "You saved our lives," Emma said. "Now we help save others." Coleman's statement was about to begin. They gathered around the TV, tense. Coleman appeared, polished as ever, flanked by doctors Jennifer recognized from the hospital. "Citizens of the United States," he began, "it is with regret that I address you about a serious situation. A group of anti-medicine extremists is spreading dangerous lies about Cerebrix, a medication that has helped thousands of children." "Liar," Michael growled. Led by a disgruntled former employee and his family, they have kidnapped sick children, denying them proper medical care. The camera showed photos of David, Jennifer, and Ethan, edited to look threatening. "I ask for everyone's cooperation. If you see these people, do not approach. Contact authorities immediately." "He's completely flipping the narrative," Jessica observed. "As for Cerebrix," Coleman continued, "it is a safe, tested, and approved medication. Don't let medical terrorists scare you with lies." That's when David smiled. "What is it?" Jennifer asked. "He made a mistake," David explained. "He said tested and approved. I have documents showing the tests were falsified. He just incriminated himself live." The statement ended with Coleman promising total protection to families affected by terrorist lies. "Disgusting," Sarah spat. "How does he sleep at night?" "On silk sheets bought with children's suffering," David replied bitterly. A car honked outside. Jessica checked the window. "Our ride," she announced. "Jennifer, Ethan, time to go." The goodbyes were quick but emotional. David hugged them both as if his life depended on it. 3 days, he promised. "In 3 days, Coleman will be finished, and you can come back." "Be careful," Jennifer pleaded. "Don't take any risks." "Me? Risky?" He tried to joke, but fear was clear in his eyes. Ethan hugged Noah, Emma, and Lily. "See you soon," he promised, "and when I come back, we'll celebrate. Pizza for everyone." "Deal," Lily said, her eyes watery. With one last look, Jennifer and Ethan got into the car. Jessica drove, no one speaking as they left the ranch. "Where are we going?" Ethan finally asked. "A place even David doesn't know," Jessica answered. "For safety. But don't worry, there's TV, internet, everything you need to follow what's happening." "And what will happen?" Jennifer asked. Jessica smiled mysteriously. "The truth will win. It always does. Sometimes it takes time, but it wins." As they traveled through Colorado's roads, the sun rising in the clear sky, Ethan took his mother's hand. "We'll be okay," he said. "All of us?" "How can you be so sure?" "Because we're the good guys," he replied simply. And Lily said in the end, "Good beats evil." Jennifer smiled, squeezing her son's hand. Somewhere behind them, David and the team prepared for the battle of their lives. Somewhere ahead, thousands of children waited for salvation, and in the middle of it all, a 12-year-old boy with special blood and an even more special heart. Had united forces for good they didn't even know existed. The war for truth had begun, and this time the good guys were determined to win. The hideout was a simple house in a working-class neighborhood of a small town Ethan couldn't even identify. Jessica settled them quickly, showing the supplies and security systems. "There's food for a week, a secure phone, encrypted internet," she explained. "Don't leave for any reason. If something goes wrong, press this button. An extraction team will come. Extraction team? Jennifer raised an eyebrow. We have more allies than you think, Jessica replied. Parents, doctors, even some politicians who lost children to Cerebrix, all waiting for the right moment to act. After Jessica left, mother and son settled in the small living room, turning on the TV for news. Mom, Ethan said after a while, do you think we'll see the end of this? What do you mean? All the children cured, Coleman arrested, our normal life back. Do you think it'll happen? Jennifer pulled her son close. I believe so. But Ethan, even when this is over, our life will never be completely normal again. You know things now. You've seen things. That changes a person. Did it change you when you found out about Dad? It did. Made me stronger but also sadder, knowing the world can be so cruel. It's not easy. But it can also be good, Ethan argued. Look how many people are helping. Look what we've managed to do. My eternal optimist, Jennifer kissed the top of his head. Regular programming was interrupted by a special bulletin. Breaking. Leaked documents suggest irregularities in Cerebrix testing. Mercy General Hospital refuses to comment. It's begun, Ethan whispered. The reporter continued. The documents, sent anonymously to several news outlets, include emails and memos suggesting knowledge of severe adverse effects. The screen switched to a medical ethics expert. If these documents are authentic, we're talking about the biggest medical scandal in U.S. history. Children used as lab rats, side effects covered up, a conspiracy reaching the highest levels. Dad works fast, Ethan remarked. The secure phone rang. It was David. Are you watching? He asked, his voice buzzing with energy. We're watching, Jennifer confirmed. What's the reaction there? Sarah and Michael are giving interviews to selected reporters. Brandon is producing the antidote around the clock. And the kids. He paused. Noah recorded a testimony about how it was before, during, and after the treatment. It's powerful. What about Coleman? Ethan asked. Complete silence so far, but our sources say he's in an emergency meeting with lawyers. Dad, there's something. I need to tell you, Ethan said suddenly, about the dreams. The dreams with glowing children. Yes, I had another one last night, but this time it was different. I saw you, working in a huge lab, and there were hundreds of children, all cured, all smiling. David was quiet. For a moment. Vision or hope? He finally asked. I don't know, maybe both. Then let's make it real, David decided. Oh, I have to go, Michael is calling. Love you both. We love you too, Jennifer replied. The day passed in a haze of news reports and tension. Every hour brought new revelations. Former pharmaceutical employees began speaking out. Parents of affected children organized protests. By evening, the scandal had fully exploded. Justice for the children was trending nationwide. Photos of children affected by Cerebrix flooded social media. It's like a house of cards, Jennifer observed. One push and it all collapses. But Coleman hasn't been arrested yet, Ethan pointed out. He's still free, still dangerous. As if summoned by the remark, the news showed Coleman leaving the hospital surrounded by security, ignoring reporters' questions. He looked scared, Ethan noticed. He should be, Jennifer responded. On the second day, things escalated. The Department of Health announced a formal investigation. The pharmaceutical company suspended Cerebrix production temporarily, but the best news came in the afternoon. Noah, Emma, and Lily appeared in an exclusive interview, sharing their stories. I could solve impossible equations, Noah said calmly, but I was losing the ability to feel emotions. Cerebrix was turning me into a machine. I felt everyone's emotions, Lily added, but couldn't turn it off. It was constant torture. And now, the interviewer asked. Now we're ourselves, Emma answered. Still special but human, thanks to Dr. David and his team. They were amazing, Ethan said proudly. They were brave, Jennifer agreed. Like you. The phone rang again. It was Jessica. "We have a problem," she said without preamble. "Coleman's disappeared, and there are rumors he knows where you are." "How?" Jennifer felt her blood run cold. "We don't know, but we're not taking chances. Extraction team in 15 minutes, be ready." Jennifer and Ethan quickly gathered, their few belongings. The wait was agonizing, every noise making their hearts race. Exactly 15 minutes later, an ordinary van pulled up outside. The driver, a man Jennifer recognized from the ranch, waved. "Hurry!" he urged. They ran to the vehicle. They'd barely closed the door when he sped off. "Where to?" Jennifer asked. "Back to the ranch," the driver answered. "David said it's time to stop running." "But Coleman, you'll have to go through a lot of good people to get to us," the man said firmly. The return trip felt endless. Ethan slept part of the way, exhausted by the constant tension. Jennifer kept watch, eyeing every passing car. When they finally reached the ranch, they found it transformed. There were 3 times as many cars, people everywhere. "What's going on?" Jennifer asked. David appeared, looking like he'd slept even less than she had. "Our revolution has grown," he explained, hugging them both. "Doctors, scientists, parents, they've all come to help. We're producing the antidote on an industrial scale." "What?" "About Coleman. On the run, but he won't get far. Sarah pulled off something incredible, a court order freezing all his assets. He's cornered." They were led inside, where the house buzzed with activity. In the main lab, Brandon supervised half a dozen new assistants. "Ethan," he waved, "I need more blood. We're gearing up for mass treatment next week." "How many doses?" Ethan asked, as they prepped him for the draw. "If all goes well, 1,000 in the first batch, enough for all the critical children." 1,000, Jennifer repeated. 1,000 lives saved. "Just the beginning," David said. "With the right resources, we can produce 10,000 doses a month." "Dr. Parker," a young technician burst in. "You need to see this now." They rushed to the monitoring room. On the screen, a breaking news alert. Flash. Dr. Richard Coleman found dead in hotel room. Police investigating possible suicide. The silence in the room was deafening. "Dead?" Ethan whispered. "He knew it was over," Michael said grimly, appearing behind them. "He took the coward's way out." "Or was silenced," Sarah suggested, joining the group. "He knew too much about powerful people." "It doesn't matter," David said after a moment. "He's gone. He can't hurt anyone now." But Jennifer noticed he didn't seem relieved. He looked worried. "What is it?" she asked quietly. "Coleman was small fish," David replied. "There were others above him. With him dead, we've lost our chance to find out who they are." "So it's not over," Ethan realized. "The battle is, the war, not yet." Despite the grim news, the work continued. In the following days, the antidote was tested on more volunteer children, each showing the same miraculous recovery. The media turned David from a fugitive into a hero. Interview requests flooded in, but he refused them all. "This isn't about me," he insisted. "It's about the children." A week after Coleman's death, they received an unexpected visitor, a man in an expensive suit, flanked by security. "Dr. Parker," he introduced himself. "I'm the health secretary. I've come with a proposal." "What kind of proposal?" David asked cautiously. "The government wants to buy your formula, produce the antidote nationwide. We're talking unlimited resources, free distribution to all affected children. And what do you want in return?" The secretary hesitated. "Control of production and exclusive rights to the formula." "So you can bury it if you decide it's inconvenient?" Sarah interjected. "We're not fools." "Dr. Wilson, I assure you our intentions—" "Your intentions don't matter," David cut in. "The answer is no, the formula stays free. Any lab that meets our quality standards can produce it." "You're making a mistake," the secretary warned. "No, the mistake would be trusting the government that let this happen in the first place," David replied firmly. After the secretary's frustrated departure, the team gathered. "He'll be back," Michael predicted, "with threats next time." "Let them try," David said. "I've already shared the formula with trusted labs in 5 countries. They can't stop it now." "You did what?" Jennifer was speechless. "Safe and sound," David winked. Learned from the best. Never put all your eggs in one basket. That evening, as they dined, now a large extended family of scientists, doctors, parents, and children, Lily stood up. "I'd like to make a toast," she announced, raising her juice glass. "A toast," and the others echoed. "To Dr. David, who never gave up. To Dr. Sarah and Dr. Michael, who were brave when it mattered. To all the parents who fought for us." She paused, looking straight at Ethan, and especially to Ethan, the boy who saved us all with his courage and his special blood. "To Ethan!" everyone cheered. Ethan flushed deeply, muttering protests about not being a hero. "Just accept it," Noah advised. "You're our hero, like it or not." Later, as the children played and the adults discussed future plans, Jennifer and David stole a quiet moment alone on the porch. "We did it," she said softly. "Against all odds." "We've only begun," he corrected. "There's still so much work. Children to heal, systems to change, making sure this never happens again." "But we're together," Jennifer emphasized. "That's what matters." David pulled her close, kissing the top of her head. "You know what kept me going all these years?" Imagining this moment, our family reunited, the children saved, the truth victorious. "Was it worth it?" she asked. "All the suffering?" He thought carefully before answering. "Ask the children we saved. Ask the parents who have their kids back. Ask Ethan if being brave was worth it." From inside the house, laughter spilled out. Ethan was performing magic tricks for the younger kids, Lily and Emma assisting as his helpers. "Our son," Jennifer smiled. "When did he grow up so fast?" "When he decided saving others was more important than his own safety," David replied. "We have an extraordinary boy, Jen." "We do," she agreed. "So what now?" "Now we live, truly live. No more secrets, no more fear, no more separations." "Promise?" "I promise. No more running, no more hiding. Just us, our extended family, and the work of healing the world, one child at a time." A month later, the first official treatment center opened. David was asked to cut the ribbon, but he insisted Ethan do the honors. "This center," Ethan said at the microphone, nervous but determined, "is for every child who suffered, for every family who grieved, for everyone who believed in the truth when it was dangerous to believe." He cut the ribbon to thunderous applause. Cameras captured the historic moment, a 12-year-old boy who changed the fate of thousands. In the months that followed, similar centers opened across the country. The formula, now free and open, was refined by scientists worldwide. Children who had lost hope began to smile again, to learn, to dream. Sarah became the director of the National Treatment Program. Michael wrote the definitive medical protocol. Brandon led research into future applications of the antidote. And at the heart of it all, a family once separated for 5 years worked together to ensure no one else would endure the same pain. A year after their reunion at the ranch, they threw a grand celebration. Hundreds attended, healed children, grateful parents, doctors and scientists who had joined the cause. Noah, now fully recovered and in college, gave a moving speech about second chances. Lily, who had learned to control her amplified empathy, worked as a youth therapist. Emma used her heightened intuition to help identify at-risk children. "Look at what we've built," David said to Jennifer as they watched the celebration. "Nisus," she corrected. "Look at what Ethan built. With his courage, his compassion, his special blood." Ethan, now 13 and taller, joined them. "What are you talking about?" "About you saving the world," Jennifer replied, ruffling his hair. "Mom," he protested, but he was smiling. "I didn't save the world. I just helped a little." "Sometimes," David said, "helping a little is all the world needs to change completely." As the sun set over the ranch that had become a symbol of hope and resilience, 3 figures remained embraced, silhouettes against the golden sky. A family that evil had tried to destroy but love had kept together. A father who sacrificed everything for the truth. A mother who never lost faith. And a boy whose special blood carried a cure not just for a disease, but for the hopelessness of thousands. The journey had been long, painful, full of fear and uncertainty. But in the end, as Lily had foreseen, good had triumphed over evil. And in laboratories around the world, scientists inspired by the courage of a 12-year-old boy continued the work, ensuring the mistakes of the past would never be repeated, that the children of the future would be safe. Ethan Parker, the boy who left doctors speechless with his refusal to take a medication, had become a symbol of a generation that said no to corporate greed and yes to truth, ethical science, and the power of family love. His story, born from tragedy and fear, became a legend of hope. And in every child saved, every family reunited, every life transformed, the legacy of his courage lived on. Because sometimes all it takes to change the world is a child brave enough to speak the truth, parents devoted enough to protect them, and good people willing to believe change is possible. The medical revolution had begun with a whispered no in a hospital office. It ended with thousands of yeses shouted in gratitude across the country. And at the heart of it all, a simple yet powerful truth. A family's love can overcome any evil. A child's courage can inspire millions. And the truth, no matter how hard they try to bury it, always finds a way to emerge victorious. The end of the story. Dear listener, thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. What did you think of Ethan's bravery and David's determination? Share your thoughts on this inspiring story in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more heartwarming tales.